Tom Sandoval certainly left his mark on the Traitors this season. He sweat a lot, belted operatic nursery rhymes backwards to varying degrees of success, inhaled food like there was no tomorrow while hunched over a table, and made a ton of wild and mostly wrong accusations before he was ultimately murdered. And while the man behind Sandoval is okay with people laughing at how he was portrayed on Peacock's campy reality competition series, he's not cool with the fan theory that his excessive pit stains were a symptom of drug withdrawal. The Vanderpump Rules alum previously explained the circumstances that led to him getting so sweaty, but a comment made by Chrishell Stause on Watch What Happens Live about the coke and sugar he was imbibing during filming only added fuel to the fire of the fan theory that it was drug-related. Below, Sandoval tells Entertainment weekly why Stause's comment was F-ed up and why he felt she was on a mission to beat him this season. Plus, he reveals the real reason why he went after housewife Dolores Catania despite no longer believing she was a traitor, why he wants Traitors host Alan come and get new material after his final faithful insult, and more. In your final confessional, you said that you didn't realize you'd be so good at this show and that you were valued and respected by the other players. But how do you feel now that you've seen all your episodes and heard some of the negative things the other players were saying about you? Tom Sandoval: I really felt like I was in my element, whether I was doing well or not. I felt like it was meant to be. I really felt like I worked hard in the challenges and tried my hardest to figure out who the traitors were. I know I was dead wrong at times, but I felt like I played a pretty good game. Obviously, they can't show everything. I helped get Boston Rob out, and the morning before I got murdered, I told Dylan, it's very obvious that it's Danielle and Carolyn, but there's this maybe on Dolores. If we get somebody who we feel really strong about being a traitor out tonight, then they can recruit, and we are back to starting from scratch. So I felt like it might not be such a bad thing if we got out of Faithful that night, so they wouldn't be able to recruit. And then we know if it's not Dolores, because Eva was suspicious of Dolores as well. And we know that it's Danielle and Carolyn, and then we don't have to worry about waking up the next day, and it's like, oh, now I'm a traitor, or Dylan, you might be a traitor, and we have to start from scratch. And sitting in the interview at the end, talking to someone on production was like, we really loved you on the show. You did a good job. So I was like, well, that's great. I feel like I did contribute. I don't know if they're laughing with me or at me. I'm just glad that people are laughing. I'm bringing joy to the screen, whatever the circumstance. You definitely were bringing the entertainment this season. There's been a lot of talk about how different you seemed on Traitors versus Vanderpump Rules, and the kind of edit you've been given on each show. What did you think of the edit you got on Traitors? I thought it was really funny. I didn't know exactly how I was going to come across. I had a lot of conspiracies and thoughts as to who might be the traitors, but so did everybody else. Dylan thought it was Robin, and really thought it was Gabby, and was completely oblivious to Boston Rob. And Robin thought it was like Bob H., and Bob H. thought it was Robin. People were all over the place, but they definitely liked showing who I thought the traitors were, which is great. It's a very different show. We're there to play a game, have fun, it's campy. So it's obviously going to be a lot different than Vanderpump Rules, which is more centered around the drama of everything. Between Vanderpump and Traitors, which show more accurately portrays who you are in real life. I would say that Traitors is more about who I am now in my life. You said that you were pitching Dolores because you thought that it would be good to get out of Faithful. Does that mean that you knew she wasn't a traitor at that time? Why were you going after her so much? I really did feel like she was a traitor for a while. When we were in the church, I was like, I'm going to get murdered by Dolores. When that didn't happen, I started to look otherwise. I thought she might still be a traitor, but with somebody that was protecting me, who was fighting to keep me in the game. Maybe it would look too obvious if she did murder me if she was a traitor, but I felt less that she was a traitor then. But I also thought to myself, if she is a faithful out of all the people that are left, they honestly have contributed more to the round tables and work harder in really trying to sniff out traitors than Dolores. So if she is a faithful, at least somebody is going home that has not done as much as the other people. That's honestly it. Do you regret telling Alan you didn't want to be a traitor? Do you think you could have played a better traitor game? Laughs. Hell no. Hell no. I don't regret telling him that. If I would have been a traitor, I think I just would have went home. I had no desire to, especially then, be a traitor and have to be deceitful and lie and do all that stuff. I just did not want to do it. It would not have been fun for me the way it would have been fun for somebody else. It also wouldn't have been looked at the same way. What did you think of how Alan read you with his final line? For once, you were actually faithful? Ugh. I just was like, dude, can we get some new material? It's been a couple years. Laughs, but I get it, whatever. You've already explained what happened with your pit stains, but there was a fan theory going around on the internet fueled by a comment Chrishell made on Watch What Happens Live that you were going through some kind of withdrawal. What did you think of that theory? I think that's a really effed up thing for her to say. It's very mean. That castle was really hot. I was not feeling well. Dylan took his shirt off as well. I mean, it was probably close to 80 degrees in there, and I had a thick wool sweater on. A lot of people were surviving off coffee because of not sleeping. Look, I went there to play a game and have fun, and I felt like Chrishell went there to play dress-up and try to ride the coattails of Sandoval. We rode in the car together with me, her, Dolores, Jeremy, and we totally hit it off, and we were just having fun. Then she's like, by the way, just so you know, I follow Ariana on Instagram. And I'm like, so do all my good friends. It's totally cool. But for her to then change that to, well, it's because I'm friends with Ariana, and to go into all my personal life and make personal digs at me, I just thought it was in poor taste. And you could see the end result. I mean, you Google her articles and stuff like that. It's all about how she really stuck it to Tom Sandoval. Do you regret going after her as a traitor? No. When she pulled her blindfold off, she was looking down and acted really weird towards Tony. She was like, so you're a cop. And I looked at Tony and he was like, dude, did you just catch that? And then I also made the mistake of going to Danielle. And I was like, give me 2 names that you feel. And the first name out of her mouth was Chrishell. I felt that she acted very odd and very strange. Her demeanor changed after the blindfold.